how do we make decisions? I studied psychology as an undergraduate and then did my postgraduate. I studied it for 5 years, got my master's. And so I've dedicated my my adult life so far, I suppose, to understanding how people think, and also dedicated to how do we use that to our advantage when it comes to creating video ads in an ethical way, of course. Now what I want to do is focus on creating better video ads. And this, what you're about to learn here, goes deep into the psychology of a customer. And if you run this sort of video ad creation, it'll work for YouTube, but it'll work for any other platform you're working on as well. So this will be very valuable, even if you're never going to touch YouTube. All right, so let's talk about this kind of store shopper and the mindset, what's happening in someone's brain as they're making decisions. Because how do we make decisions? I studied psychology as an undergraduate and then did my postgraduate. I studied it for 5 years, got my master's. And so I've dedicated my my adult life so far, I suppose, to understanding how people think, and also dedicated to how do we use that to our advantage when it comes to creating video ads in an ethical way, of course. So how do we do this? How do we make decisions as human beings? Well, we tend to go through 3 stages of decision making. First of all, you have this unconscious part of your brain, the right-hand part of your brain, that is kind of very aware of everything that makes up who you are, your memories, your beliefs, your identity, your experiences, kind of your emotions, which is the big one. It's everything within you. And it's the right-hand part of your brain that looks for patterns and is not looking for individual, very specific details, but more a case of understanding the gestalt, the bigger picture, so to speak. It kind of picks up on that very, very quickly. We've got to make sure, first of all, that we get the unconscious mind wanting what it is we've got. Then what we do is we build the conscious brain. We make sure we get the kind of conscious brain very happy. That's the part that's very logical and methodical. And then we do our call to action in the video. We actually always call it a call to action, but I'll talk about that in a second. So 3 stages and 3 acts for your video campaigns. Okay, 3 acts for any video that you create from here on in, right? So how do we do this? Well, we're actually not going to focus on a call to action. We like to call it a call to being. So it's called a C to B, and I'll explain what that means shortly. But the first thing we're going to do is find out that decision driving desire. Now, this is that deep-rooted emotion, and these are all deep-rooted emotions that people have that drives behavior. So when you see an advert on TV for a 4x4 vehicle and it's going up the mountain, or it's going off-piste and it's going off-roading to a secluded beach, or someone's getting out and climbing that mountain, what it's really selling to you is adventure. It's saying, if you buy this car, you will experience adventure in your life. And that unconscious part of our brain wants that immediately. We want more adventure in our lives. We want to be seen as being more adventurous. And so it appeals to us very quickly. We don't know why. It doesn't make logical sense, but we just want the car. We want it because we're like, I want that. It'll make me feel adventurous. Okay. So when you come to your product or your business, what is it that's deep down within your customers that makes them really want it? What are you promising to them at an emotional level? You've got to get that sorted out from the very beginning, because then you can start creating a concept. So we did this with a client of ours who teaches piano, and we were saying to her, what do your customers really want? And we came to the conclusion that her customers really want to feel like that state of flow where they have complete creative freedom, where they sit down at the piano and play and lose themselves and just enjoy it so much. I said, okay, well, if you were to fall asleep tonight and you had a dream about that, where would you be? And she said, I'd be at the bottom of this mountain playing this piano, and it would be just, I just spend all day there every day. And that's exactly what we did. We managed to take this piano there, and the start of this video shows this scene where if you're interested in piano playing, you see this and you think, I want to be there. I want to do that. I want to feel that emotion. I want to be in complete creative freedom. And that's what we're promoting at the very start of the video. So you can see that the concept is driven from that unconscious desire, that emotion that's so powerful. Now, when we've done that, then we need to move on to the second part, which is the conscious part of your brain, the logic, the values, the justification for your unconscious mind making this decision. It needs to make sense. So this part of you want to build out assets of things like your backstory. Like, why do you exist? Why does your product exist? Tell me all about the hero's story, for example, and your point of view on the world. Build up your credibility. And then also show them a demonstration of how your product works. So just to give you a bit of an example, in one of our customers who sells training around playing the golf, we show here like a 3-stage process. 3 steps to really improve your golf. So first of all, you do 10 hooks, then you get your balance right, and then third of all, you kind of start working on muscle memory. And they did a study and it worked really, really well. And they had a huge amount of golfers get amazing results. And so we showed them 213 out of 215 golfers got this result. And we're showing that credibility piece there as well. So we're trying to show people like there's proof here. There's a lot of conscious mind ticking, so to speak, to be like, you can trust us, this works. Your conscious brain can be happy at this point. You really want it because you want to play better golf and beat your friends. That's what the unconscious wants. But consciously, they want to see this can work. This is methodical. This has been proven out time and time before. Cool. And then both parts of their brain are happy at that point, which then moves us to this third act. And it's all about a call to being. We're not doing a call to action. We're saying you can become someone new. And that person is your identity. And who is that new identity? And we put tension on that identity to create people that tension to go and act, to go and do something, to actually take the decision to take the next step with you as a brand. So we build tension here. Now, this is an example here of someone who teaches guitar. And when we did their video creation together, and we've done a lot of them, we're setting up what we call set up 2 identities. So if you watch this video, you're going to see it come to life.
The top shows a person who just dabbles at guitar. They'll go all in on something exciting, then have long stretches of time without actually playing. Every time they start up again, they go back to the beginning, never building on top of previous success. On the bottom is a person who quickly becomes a real guitar player because they commit to playing consistently above all else. These people go on to be real guitar players who can learn new songs fast, play for their spouse, jam around the campfire, or play in their church band. Every single one of them started right where you're at, sitting in front of a computer with your guitar in hand or nearby, sitting on the cusp of a major decision. Will I be a dabbler or will I be a guitar player?
Okay, so we've asked the viewer, are you going to be a dabbler or are you going to be a guitar player? I'm not sure if you managed to hear that clearly, but what we're setting up is setting up 2 identities. And what we're really saying is, who do you want to become? Or who are you right now? Are you a dabbler or are you a guitar player? You get to decide. And unconsciously, you're saying, well, who do I want to be? And consciously, that makes sense. Like, yeah, it's been justified. I understand there's 2 types of guitar player. Which one am I? Am I a dabbler or am I a guitar player? And you get to make that choice as a viewer. Now, we've set up those 2 identities. And so by the end of the video, we're creating tension around it. So if you watch this part of the video, you'll see how we do this. So we're going to add the tension around these 2 types of identities here.
This is all about playing real music and having fun. I don't want you to just dabble for the rest of your life. I want you to be a guitar player. Click the link and watch the class. It's absolutely free, and I guarantee it will change your guitar life.
Okay, so he's saying, I don't want you to be a dabbler for your whole life. So we're kind of saying, don't be that person, be a guitar person instead. And this decision to go forwards with this brand is not based on, should you go and get this program or not? Should you sign up to this webinar or not? It's become, who do I really want to become here? Do I want to actually learn the guitar, or do I want to give up on this and give up on this dream? That's really hard to do, to say, I want to give up on this. So we're creating tension around who they want to become. And this is a really important decision. We've made that clear to them earlier, saying you're sitting on the cusp of a really important decision. The stakes are really high here. What are you going to do? And that call to being is so much more powerful than a call to action. Now, we also add these, so you're saying, who are you going to be? But we also add here this countdown timer that you may have seen, and that improves your click-through rates by 32%. So in every video we do, we always add a countdown timer. We're just adding that natural scarcity to say, time's running out, go take action right now. So for this, to build that call to being, you want to make sure the assets you have are lots of any reviews or testimonials you want to add in there, you can add in there at that point. You want to tell people what they stand to gain and what they stand to lose. And also add that countdown timer at the very end so they know that time's running out. So those Act 2 and Act 3 feel like, well, it's just a case of pulling the assets together and being clever about this. But Act 1 can feel a bit more challenging to find those angles and those hooks. Well, here's a great way of doing it. What you can do for Act 1, if you're struggling to come up with a creative concept or creative ideas. You might have like the vision of what the storyboard might be. But when you're writing the copy, which always needs to come last, by the way, write your script at the end of this whole process. But in order to kind of guide you along that process, look up the reviews you've had of your products. What do people say? The good reviews and the bad reviews. And normally you can start to see what really people want. What is their pains? What are the problems? What's hurting them? And kind of read through them. And if you don't have many of your own products, look at your competitors' products. See what their reviews are. Go on Amazon. Check out what people are saying. Because you can really dig down into what the viewer's mindset is at that level. And look at what they kind of really want. And look at what they're really annoyed by or frustrated by, or what their pains at that point as well. And you're starting to use that for the actual copy itself. And then you also want to add in some claims. So if you've got amazing testimonials and you've got results for people, have that as a case study from the very beginning. Like, share with the story of one of your customers of how they managed to achieve an amazing result. So it becomes that quantifiable end result for other people. They're saying, I want that. I want that end result like that person's had. And they see themselves in that testimonial as well. That whoever that person is, they feel like, that's me. I'm in exactly the same place as they were. And look at the results they're getting. I want that. And I can see that if someone like that's got it, I can do it too. You're giving them that belief. You're putting that claim there for them that is that quantifiable end result. And that as a video structure will really help you. And then you insert that video once you've created it and put it into your video campaigns. And you'll find that you can continue to scale and grow. And you just optimize those campaigns, keep on growing more campaigns, adding more targeting, adding more fuel to the fire by adding more budget to it on every single day. And you'll find you'll be able to continue growing and scaling your accounts past $30,000 a day, which is the $1 million mark per month.